It's 1:10 in the morning. I'm asleep at the fire station. I'm bundled up in my covers, the room is cold, and then I get interrupted by the alarm. The dispatcher starts screaming at us through that crackly speaker. Medic Engine 4, Medic Brush Patrol 4, Vehicle Fire, eastbound I-40 Delta 3. My heart starts racing like it always does every single time the alarm goes off. It doesn't matter what the emergency was, but for fires? Ooh. This is our time. This is why we're here. And I get my boots on. I run out to the apparatus bay. I put on my turnouts. I hop in that rig and we start racing down the road. Air horn blasting, siren going, in the fire engine, big red. What I signed up for. You don't get to choose when the alarm goes off. You just show up. We'll be there in 17 minutes. We start to see the brake lights lined up on the freeway. They can't drive past this burning vehicle. We make it to the inside shoulder so that the cars can move off to the right. We're slowly creeping through the traffic. Car by car, piece by piece, mile by mile, we're getting closer. Then I see it, the red glow. It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be for a vehicle. That's weird. Hey Cap, does that look bigger than it normally does? No response. It comes over the radio. It's a big rig. It's not just a car. The entire trailer, engulfed in flames, turned over in the center of the road, blocking all the lanes of traffic. There's fire, there's debris, it's everywhere. We don't have enough water for this. Our engine only carries enough water to fill up a jacuzzi. Where are we gonna get it in the middle of the desert? My heart starts to beat a little bit faster because this isn't just a vehicle fire. This is gonna take some work. We're gonna need to turn this thing inside out and put all of it out. Okay, so I'm running through what I need to do. What's the scenario in my head? It's okay, I've trained for this. This isn't my first big rig fire. I know what to do. And even if I don't know what to do, my body knows what to do because I've been through the training so many times. Finally, we get there. The air brake sets. I hop out of the rig. The engineer goes around to the pump panel so that he can get me water. Captain gets out of the rig to figure out what is really going on here. My focus? I'm getting out of this fire engine. I'm gonna put on my mask. I'm gonna connect it to air. I'm gonna throw on my helmet, grab the hose line, and I'm gonna start putting out this fire. We're a team. We do this together. I grab my hose line, I drag it over to this big rig. I call for water. Water! I yell it. The hose line charges up, and it makes it sound like the weird unraveling of a canvas balloon. I start fighting fire, but I only have 500 gallons of water, and this big rig's gonna take a lot more. My focus is to stop this thing from spreading and getting worse. I know I'm not going to be able to put it out all by myself. We need more water. The captain realized that, and he's got resources coming. Then I hear those sweet words over the radio. Water tenders, they're on their way. We got help from a local military base to get the water tenders to that scene so that we could have enough water to do our job. Whew. Here's what happened. The driver of this big rig fell asleep at the wheel. He veered off the side of the road, jackknife and flipped. The tractor leaked fuel, it caught fire, the entire trailer went up in flames. It's really important to know what's on fire, because that fire must be 100% out, or I don't get to leave. So the work needs to be done. What was it that I had to sift through for the next 4 hours? Unbuilt IKEA furniture and Toy Story 4 popcorn buckets. That's what we were putting out. That's what I was breathing in. All that smoke, all those carcinogens, all those toxins. Burning furniture, burning paint. That was my job. That's why I was there. I was doing what I was supposed to do. We wrapped up that incident. Everything went well. Nothing bad happened. Just another day's worth of work. We're driving home as the sun's starting to crest over the mountains in the desert. It's about 5:45 in the morning. I'm tired. I didn't sleep. I haven't eaten. Barely had any water. I had just worked on overhauling and putting out this entire big rig fire. I'm gassed. I'm dirty. I'm sweaty. I'm still soaking wet from all the sweat inside these turnouts. Beep, 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 beep. Medic Engine 4, medical aid. Diabetic Charlie 2. We got another one. And so we don't get to go back to the station. We go to their house. We go to the person that called 911. We're only 11 minutes away. This lady's husband won't wake up. John! Trap pinch. Nothing. He's breathing. Barely. I'm checking his pupils. I'm asking questions. I'm looking at his medications. I'm wondering if he has any allergies. I'm talking about his medical history. I'm really trying to figure out what's going on. Is his heart beating? His heart is beating. He's pale. He's sweating. Let's check his blood sugar. 16. The normal blood sugar is between 60 and 100. A diabetic emergency. I go to my paramedic box. I spike a bag of D10, some dextrose. I grab his arm. I start an IV. I push the needle in. I hook up the bag with the dextrose. The engineer's holding it, standing there. I hook it up. We put an oxygen mask on him, and we wait. 2 minutes later, he's opening his eyes. 3 minutes later, he's starting to mumble. 4 minutes later, he's starting to talk. 5 minutes later, I check his blood glucose again, 150. We brought him back. He didn't die that day, because his wife called 911 and we showed up with the tools to get the job done. We could finally get back to the fire station at 6:30 in the morning. Luckily, I'm not on duty that next day. I was at the end of a 4-day shift. The guys coming in were fresh. They could replace me at 8 o'clock. Oh, God, I was so excited. I spent the rest of my time cleaning up the fire engine, restocking our medical kit, taking a shower, and at 7:45 my relief shows up. Thank God I didn't have to run another call before they got there, because I am blown out. I'm tired. I drive the hour and a half home. I get there, my wife greets me, daughter's there. Oh, hey guys, Dad got wrecked last night. Very busy. Fires, medical aids. I didn't sleep a wink. I need to go to bed. I slept that whole day. I didn't spend time with my family. I didn't eat lunch with them. I didn't go to the store with them. I didn't laugh with them. I didn't joke with them. I didn't make bonds. I didn't make memories. I spent it recovering because of what the job demanded from me. I am so grateful for the time I spent at the fire department working with those guys, building bonds with them, and serving our community, taking care of people. I've run thousands of calls. I've been in thousands of homes. I've met thousands of people that I will never see again. Some never walked out of the hospital. Others never had to go. But the price that I had to pay to be that person and do that job was becoming less and less worth it, because my priorities in life were shifting. They were shifting away from being a solo male, building his career and his value as a man in the world, to a person who wants to be present and take care of his family. What was I going to do? What was I supposed to do? What options did I have? That's why I built a business. It took 5 years to pull it off. It took me 5 years to build my business while working at the fire department in order to get it to a point where it could replace my salary, my health insurance, and my retirement. But as soon as that trigger point was met, I left. Evan, you're crazy for leaving a job that was paying you $24 an hour, a pension, benefits. It was regular. You couldn't be fired. Like, as long as you showed up, you would be okay. Like, what were you thinking? Everything has a price. And the price that I was paying at the fire department was becoming too great for the person that I wanted to become. The person that I want to become is present for their family every day. The person that I want to become is there for their kids in the morning when they go to school. He's there for their kids in the afternoon when they get home. He goes to bed knowing he tucks them in at night, gets to be a part of dinner, gets to show up to every school function. He has a relationship with his wife that is consistent and regular and beautiful. He loves his kids. He helps his community. He's present, mentally clear, physically fit, eats well, healthy, moral, just, righteous. He teaches, he educates. That version of myself was being held back by the job that I had at the fire department. The only way that I could become that version of myself was to change what I was doing on a daily basis. The only way to get there was to get free. The only way to get there was to remove myself from the rat race. The only way to get there was to go against what everybody else was telling me. It's a very scary thing to do, and it is definitely not easy, but it's possible because I've done it. It took me 5 years to build that business, and when it got to a point where it could replace my salary, my pension, and my benefits, I left and I pursued it full time. That business came to be because of the fire department. Let me fill you in on something that a lot of people might not know. When you get hired as a firefighter, you get put through an academy. They call it a fire academy. There are fire academies that people can go in college, and then there's fire academies that men go through when they are getting hired for the fire department. And they are very different things. One is much harder than the other and has a lot more riding on it. This academy lasted 18 weeks. We started with 44 and we ended with 33 men because some of them didn't make the cut. You get injured, you lose your job. You don't show up on time, you lose your job. You don't pass the test, you lose your job. You can't perform, you lose your job. You're sick, you lose your job. You roll your ankle and you can't walk, you lose your job. This is the type of environment that molded and shaped me. This academy was obsessed with teaching you what your limits were. Physical, mental, and emotional. They would push you to the nth degree in every category as often as they could. Shit, I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, PTing at 5 a.m. to PT again at 6:30 and then be ready for training at 8. That went until 5 o'clock in the evening, where I would drive home, grab some dinner on the way, wash my uniform, go to sleep by 9 and get up in the morning to do it all over again. I did that for 18 weeks. I suffered with these men. We grew together. We learned together. We became brothers. So when it came time to graduate, when it came time to get our badges pinned on us and to go into the workforce as probationary firemen, it was a big deal. It meant a lot to us. It's something to commemorate. All the guys said, hey, bro, you got a wood shop? You know how to do this? Build the plaque. We'll have the axes and the Halligan and it'll look sick. And I said, yes, dude, I'm your guy. I got this. Let me do it. So I did. I took on the project. I made this big, beautiful walnut 8. Oh, it was magnificent. And I had our names engraved on glass. I had leather and badges and axes and Halligans behind it. It was amazing. I had one thing left to do, and that was to wood burn our motto into the wooden plaque. So you know what I did is I grabbed my soldering iron. I plugged it into the wall. I heated it up, and I'm like, okay, I got this. I'm artistic. I can pull this off. I got this. You just burn in the words, together in, together out. Just burn them in. I touch my soldering iron to the walnut and I start doing the first T, and I screwed up the whole project. The soldering iron dug into the wood. It got stuck on the wood grain. The lines were wobbly. It looked awful. It ruined everything and I had to start over. It was so devastating. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna let down my team. I'm not gonna be able to show up for them. Like, what do I do? It was very stressful. Luckily, I have a wonderful partner. My wife and I put our heads together and we tried to find another way to get it done, and we did. With a lot of online research and a little bit of garage chemistry, we figured out how to do it chemically. We figured out how to wood burn chemically. We mixed up this solution. We printed out a stencil. We stuck it on the wood, and then we painted the solution on where the stencil gaps were. We tore off that stencil, and then we grabbed a heat gun and we started applying heat, and the letters started to show up. They started to burn into the wood. Whew, it worked. We did it. I finished the project. I showed up for graduation with it, and it was so well received. That plaque will forever memorialize the struggle that we went through as brothers. But we pulled it off. We solved a problem. We weren't able to do this thing, and we figured out another way to do the thing. After that project was done, I turned to my wife and I said, do you think anybody would be willing to buy this liquid? Do you think anyone would even buy it if we put it in a marker? Am I crazy? Like, we could pull that off, right? And that was the beginning of the business. I got the okay to grab $500 of our savings from my wife, and I ordered a bunch of empty markers from Amazon. Once they showed up, I started putting this liquid in there and testing out a bunch of different variations, and I found one that worked. So I traced the manufacturer back to China, and I started ordering them empty ones, and I started with 500. So I went and I bought a printer, and then I bought some label paper, and then I went online and I designed a label. I came up with a name. I checked to see if it was taken. It wasn't, so I printed it out. I stuck the label on, filled up that marker, capped it, put it in a baggie, and we had our very first Scorch Marker. The next thing that I did was I started an Amazon listing. I didn't know any better. I was new to business. I didn't even have an LLC. I knew nothing. I was just a fireman with a high school education. So I listed it on Amazon. That's where you sell stuff, isn't it? 3 months go by, nothing happens. The project was forgotten about. And then I got an email. Ding! One of your items was sold on Amazon. Here's your label. Print it out, stick it on the box, make sure it ships within 48 hours. What? Someone bought one? Oh my God. Okay. All right. I raced into my garage. I mix up some solution. I fill up the marker. I wrap the label on. I put it in the bag, put it in an envelope, stick the label on and send it off, and we're good. 3 days later, ding, got another email. What? 2 people in 1 month? Oh, that was the turning point for our business. I just needed to know that it was possible. I just needed to know that someone in this world would be interested in what I had to offer. I started to give it a little bit more attention, started to talk about it a little bit, started to run some tests, started to get some feedback, started to send it to people. I built an Instagram page. I started to learn about websites. I started to learn about e-commerce, Shopify, how to sell things online, how to deal with taxes. Do I form an LLC? All of these things were questions in my mind, but I didn't care. I wanted to sell the thing. I wanted to build the business. And so we did. Fast forward 5 years later, and we're selling millions. We're selling hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of Scorch Markers every single month on Amazon, on our website. We cut a deal with Michael's. We cut a deal with Hobby Lobby. They're in stores now. Home Shopping Network picked us up. We're in Joanne. We did it. We hit the mother lode. We're here. Oh, now the real work begins, my friend. After 5 years of hard work, it was an overnight success. We were making money. I was able to leave the fire department. I was able to start becoming the person that I had envisioned. Present for my family, first and foremost. A man that has a mission statement. A man that knows who he is. A man that stands by his character. A man that doesn't compromise on his morals. A man who does what he says he's going to do. A man that shows up. And I started to get to become that person, but only because I had left the rat race. Only because I had left the grind. Only because I left my 9 to 5. That was the only way out. I had to become my own boss. Had I tried to do this earlier, I would have failed. I needed the discipline that I learned from the fire department. It was the perfect concoction, the perfect time in my life to go all in on me. That's why I make videos. That's why I talk about what I talk about. I had to learn so many skills to extract myself from the rat race. And if only I had someone grabbing me by the shoulders and telling me, no, do it like this, you fool. It's so much easier this way. I didn't have that at all. It sucked, and I had to learn on my own. Granted, I'm not ungrateful for that time that I had to spend under the bar, but I got my reps in. I practiced business over and over and over again, every single day, even on the days I didn't want to do it, and it has allowed me to get to this point. Here's the big takeaway from this conversation. My life was like this, and now it's like this. You might be here, but you can be here. You just need to know what steps to take in between. You can be another version of yourself, but only if you're willing to make the changes. Only if you're willing to put in the work. No one's coming to save you. No one's going to do it for you. You have to be the one to make the decisions. You have to be the one to change. You have to be the one to actually do the thing. It's on you and only you. The sooner that you take ownership of the life that you're living, the sooner you can control it and shape it into what you want it to be. If you look at my life today, it's beautiful. I sleep 8 hours a night. I'm home when the kids leave for school, and I'm home after they get back. I'm here for dinner. I'm present with my wife after dinner. I get to go to bed with her every single night. I sleep in the same bed every single night. I have a routine. I have structure. I'm able to be a pillar, a rock in our family. Present, masculine rock that our family so desperately needs. But I'm only able to do that because of the work that we put in the years prior. It is a long, arduous, difficult, painful, challenging journey, but the payoff is far greater than anything you can imagine. You can do this too. You have it in you. It's there. You're capable. You just need to take the conscious steps and move forward piece by piece, little by little, every single day. If you like this video, consider checking out this one. I think you might really like it. Be good to future you.